alav shalom. We learn a tremendous lesson from Yitro. Yitro Hakini. Why is he called Hakini? The Canaanite. We know that he heard the story of Amalek and the Kriyat Yamsuf, and he was Choser B'Tshuvah. He served all the idols in the world. He left all of his religions. He ended up converting. He had the best domot of Moshe Rabbeinu. But the Torah says that he's a Kini. Why do you have to tell us that he's a Canaanite? Right? So the Zohar says that he was Gilgul of who? Of Cain. So Yitro Hakini, he was from Cain. He was the Gilgul of Cain. How did he go and mitaken for Cain? Cain killed Hevel. And therefore Hashem went and punished Cain, that he's a wanderer, and he put a sign on him that no one should kill him because he was nervous people will kill him. What sign did Yitro put on himself? He put on himself the sign of also of the Brit. But when Hashem saw that Cain was jealous of Hevel, he told him to do teshuvah. And what did Cain do? Cain didn't do teshuvah. Ended up being that he didn't really listen. He turned a deaf ear and he continued on his ways. Yitro did the tikkun. He heard and he listened and he did teshuvah and he changed his ways. He completely did 180, changed his whole life around. So you see, people sometimes they choose what they want to hear. Everyone hears the same thing. Is that some people they listen and they absorb it. Some people say they act like they didn't hear. They act like that's not for them. So therefore, a person has to learn to be like Yitro. You hear, accept it, and therefore change because of it. Your doctor tells you, listen, you need to go on a diet. Your cholesterol is high, your sugar is high, you're not healthy, you can't last too long like this. So a person, what is he going to say? Okay, that's what you say. That's your opinion. I don't care. I have my own opinion. I'm going to continue doing what I think it's nice and fun for me to do. So you tell them what? Chazak Baruch. You're going to hit a brick wall. You're going to cry. Right? And therefore, the same thing with spirituality. A lot of times you tell them, no, but save your neshama. You have to save this. It's important to do this. Okay, that's your opinion. Thank you very much. I'm going to still do whatever I want. And it's like he told the doctor, take a hike. And then what? Chas v'shalom, they're going to cry later. You don't want them to cry later. You have to learn easy way, not the hard way. So Yitro heard. And we know that because of that, he went out of his way and changed his whole life. We have to learn to listen like him. The ear is a very important thing in Judaism. We see that the Eved Ivri, right, the Jewish slave, if he's supposed to be released in the Shemitah year, the 7th year, but if he chooses to stay after the 6th year, what does he have to do? He has to get a hole bored in his ear. He has to get he has to become nirtzah. He has to be by the doorpost. Why do we do his ear? Why not somewhere else? So the Midrash says, the Rashi quotes it, the ear that heard on Mount Sinai, that the children of Israel servants to Hashem, you are choosing to use that ear to now listen to this master, get another master for yourself. Why? Be a master, let Hashem be your master. From the fact that you went and acquired a different master, now it's going to be even harder to serve God. So therefore you go and you get bored on the ear. So you see that the ear that heard on Mount Sinai, it's about hearing. Hearing means absorbing and listening, and based on this, changing your ways. And that's why it's very important that you listen to your elders, listen to the rabbis, listen to what people are telling you for your better sake, and not just be so stubborn and say, I do whatever I want, I don't want to listen to anybody. A lot of people, even in conversations with their friends, they're not even really listening. They hear until I get my turn to speak and I can say what I want. So therefore, a person has to learn in life. You gotta listen. You gotta listen. You could argue with other people. It's fine. But arguing that Torah, arguing your elders, if they're following the Torah, obviously a person has to learn to listen and to put his head down, to be humble. The Sfat Emet writes. I'm sorry. The Ger Rebbe writes. Not the Sfat Emet. The one before him. The Chidush Arim. The Chidush Arim says that why does the slave master bore a hole in his slave? At the end of the day, there's two ways to become a Jewish slave. I understand a guy who stole, doesn't have money to pay. Chai. Okay. I'm sorry, the guy who sold himself because he has no money. Okay, it's your fault. Why did you sell yourself as a slave? Go and work. But a guy who stole, right? Or a guy who's in a situation where he has no choice and he had no other job and he stayed there to be another 6 years as a slave. Well, why is this his fault? He had nowhere to go. He had no money. He was stuck. So the Chidush Arim says, you know why Hashem says you have to bore your hole in your ear? You thought that what the halacha is, if I have a slave, he has to provide for me all my necessities, right? If he has one pillow, I get it. If